What if I told you that one of history's most accurate mystics warned us about a year when people would simply vanish? Not in some distant future, but in 2026, just months away from now. BABA VANGA, the blind Bulgarian prophet who predicted 9/11, the Kursk submarine disaster, and the rise of global terrorism, left us with a chilling warning about the year ahead. She called it the year of the vanishing ones. And according to her prophecies, 2026 is that year. Before you dismiss this as just another doomsday prediction, consider this. BABA VANGA made her prophecies decades ago, yet 85% of them have come true. She predicted events with such precision that even skeptics had to pause and reconsider. So when she spoke about a year when humanity would face unprecedented disappearances, when the fabric of our society would be tested like never before, we need to pay attention. Let me take you back to a small village in Bulgaria, to the story of a woman who would become one of the most enigmatic figures of the 20th century. Born Vangelia Pandeva Dimitrova in 1911, BABA VANGA lost her sight at the age of 12 during a massive dust storm, according to witnesses. She was lifted off the ground by powerful winds and found later covered in sand and dirt, her eyes damaged beyond repair. But something happened in that storm, something that would change her life forever. After losing her physical sight, VANGA claimed she gained something else, a vision that transcended the limitations of human perception. She began to see things others couldn't, events that hadn't happened yet, tragedies that would unfold years, sometimes decades, into the future. At first, people were skeptical, a blind peasant girl claiming to see the future. It seemed absurd, but then her predictions started coming true. During World War II, people traveled from across Bulgaria to seek her counsel. They wanted to know if their loved ones would return from the war, if their villages would be spared, if they would survive the coming darkness. And VANGA told them. Sometimes her words brought comfort. Often they brought tears, but they always brought truth. After the war, her reputation grew. By the 1960s and 70s, she was receiving visitors from around the world. Political leaders, celebrities, ordinary people desperate for answers. They all came to her simple home in the village of Rupite. Among her most famous predictions was the sinking of the Russian submarine Kursk in 2000. Years before it happened, she spoke of a city named after a famous Russian battle that would be covered by water, causing the whole world to weep. When the Kursk submarine disaster occurred, killing all 118 crew members, people remembered her words. She predicted the 9/11 attacks. Speaking of ironbirds that would attack the American brothers and cause rivers of blood, she foresaw the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami that killed over 230,000 people. She warned about the rise of extremist groups and global terrorism decades before it became our reality. But perhaps her most disturbing predictions were reserved for the years leading up to and including 2020. She spoke of this period as a time of great transition, a threshold moment in human history where the old world would die and something new, something uncertain, would be born. She called 2026 the year of the vanishing ones. But what did she mean by this cryptic phrase? According to those who studied her prophecies closely, VANGA described 2026 as a year when people would disappear in ways that defied conventional explanation, not through war or disease alone, though she hinted at both, but through circumstances that would baffle authorities and terrify populations. She spoke of communities waking up to find neighbors gone without a trace, of families torn apart by unexplained absences, of a growing panic as the disappearances accelerated throughout the year. Now, before we go further, let's be clear about something. Prophecies are not exact sciences. They're interpretations of visions, often filtered through the cultural and linguistic limitations of the prophet. BABA VANGA spoke in Bulgarian, often in metaphors and symbols that her visitors had to decode. So when we talk about the year of the vanishing ones, we need to consider multiple interpretations. We need to think critically about what this could mean in our modern context. Some researchers believe VANGA was warning us about a coming pandemic even deadlier than COVID-19, a disease that could sweep through populations so quickly that people would seem to vanish overnight. We've seen how fast contagion can spread in our interconnected world. We've witnessed the fear, the lockdowns, the mass casualties. Could 2026 bring something worse, a pathogen we're not prepared for, a biological threat that makes our previous pandemics look mild by comparison? Others interpret her prophecy as a warning about mass migration and displacement. Climate change is accelerating, coastal cities are at risk, agricultural zones are shifting, water scarcity is becoming critical in many regions. By 2026, we could see climate refugees numbering in the tens of millions, entire communities forced to abandon their homes, their lands, their lives. From the perspective of those left behind, these people would indeed seem to vanish, swallowed up by the chaos of climate catastrophe. There's another interpretation that's gained traction in recent years, especially among tech-focused analysts. Could VANGA have foreseen a digital crisis, a cyber catastrophe that would cause people to disappear in a more metaphorical sense? Imagine a scenario where critical infrastructure fails, power grids collapse, communication networks go dark, Banking systems crash. In such a situation, people wouldn't physically vanish, but they would effectively disappear from the grid. No digital footprint, no way to contact them, no way to know if they're alive or dead. In our hyper-connected age, being offline is almost like not existing at all. Some of Vanga's other predictions for this period add disturbing context to the year of the vanishing ones. She spoke about conflicts in Europe intensifying, about economic systems collapsing under the weight of their own contradictions, about environmental disasters that would reshape coastlines and force humanity to reconsider its relationship with nature. She warned about technological advances that would come at a terrible cost, about humanity's hubris leading to consequences we couldn't foresee. What makes these prophecies particularly unsettling is how they align with trends we're already witnessing. Global tensions are rising. Economic inequality is reaching breaking points. Climate records are being shattered year after year. We're developing technologies like artificial intelligence and genetic engineering faster than we can fully understand their implications. It's as if we're rushing headlong toward the very future Vanga warned us about. But here's where we need to pause and think carefully. Prophecies can become self-fulfilling. If enough people believe disaster is coming, they can unconsciously create the conditions for disaster to occur. Panic is contagious. Fear is paralyzing. If we spend all our time worrying about vanishing, we might miss the opportunity to prevent whatever crisis is approaching. Vanga herself often emphasized that the future wasn't fixed, that human choices mattered, that awareness could change outcomes. So what can we do with this information? How should we approach the year ahead? First, we need to stay informed without becoming paralyzed by fear. Knowledge is power, but anxiety is debilitating. Understanding potential risks, whether they're pandemics, climate disasters, or technological failures, helps us prepare. But obsessing over worst-case scenarios prevents us from living meaningful lives. Second, we should focus on resilience, building strong communities, maintaining connections with family and friends, developing practical skills, storing essential supplies, creating networks of mutual support. These aren't just preparations for prophesied disasters, they're good practices for navigating any uncertain future. They make us stronger, more adaptable, more capable of handling whatever comes. Third, we need to engage with the real challenges facing humanity. Climate change isn't a prophecy, it's a measurable reality. Political instability isn't mystical, it's the result of specific policies and choices. Public health vulnerabilities aren't magic, they're the consequences of underfunded systems and inadequate preparation. By addressing these concrete issues, we might prevent the very catastrophes that prophecies warn us about. It's worth noting that BABA VANGA also predicted positive developments for humanity's future. She spoke of advances in medicine that would extend human life, of new forms of energy that would replace fossil fuels, of a time when humanity would finally achieve a more equitable distribution of resources. Her vision wasn't entirely dark. She saw 2026 as a crisis point, yes, but also as a potential turning point, a moment when humanity could choose a different path. Some scholars of her work believe the year of the vanishing ones refers not to people disappearing, but to old systems, old ways of thinking, old power structures vanishing. From this perspective, 2026 could be a year of radical transformation. Corrupt institutions could collapse, outdated ideologies could fade away, unjust hierarchies could crumble. The vanishing would be of the old world order, making room for something new. This interpretation aligns with other mystics and prophetic traditions that speak of our current era as a time of great transition, the shift from the age of Pisces to the age of Aquarius, the end of Kali Yuga in Hindu tradition, the completion of the Mayan calendar cycle. Across cultures, there's this sense that we're living through a pivotal moment in human history, that the next few years will determine the trajectory of civilization for centuries to come, regardless of which interpretation proves accurate. One thing is clear, we're living in extraordinary times. The challenges we face, from climate change to technological disruption, from political polarization to economic inequality, are unprecedented in their scale and complexity. Whether BABA VANGA's prophecies are literally true or metaphorically insightful, they serve as a reminder that we can't take our future for granted, that complacency is dangerous, that awareness and action are essential. As we move closer to 2026, we'll likely see more discussion of Vanga's prophecies, more interpretations, more debates about their meaning and validity. Some will dismiss them entirely as superstition. Others will see them as divine warning. Most of us will probably fall somewhere in between, curious but cautious, open-minded but critical. What we shouldn't do is let prophecies, whether from BABA VANGA or anyone else, rob us of our agency. The future isn't written in stone. It's being created right now by the choices we make, individually and collectively. Every action we take, every decision we make, every value we uphold or abandon, shapes what's coming. We're not passive observers waiting for fate to unfold. We're active participants in the creation of tomorrow. BABA VANGA understood this. Despite her prophetic gifts, she emphasized personal responsibility. She told people that knowing the future was less important than choosing wisely in the present, that awareness of potential dangers should inspire precaution, not paralysis, that the greatest power humans possess isn't the ability to see what's coming, but the capacity to change direction before we get there. So as we contemplate the year of the vanishing ones, let's ask ourselves what we want to vanish. What parts of our world, our society, our personal lives would we like to see disappear? Maybe it's hatred and division. Maybe it's environmental destruction. Maybe it's the systems that perpetuate inequality and suffering. If we're going to have a year of vanishing, let's make sure it's the right things that disappeared at the same time. Let's ask what we want to preserve. What's worth protecting? What's worth fighting for? Our connections with loved ones, our communities, our values, our humanity, the best parts of who we are as individuals and as a species, if challenging times are coming. These are the things we'll need to hold on to most tightly. 2026 may indeed prove to be a remarkable year, whether it unfolds as Baba Vanga predicted, or in ways no one foresaw. It will be what we make of it. Our response to challenges will matter more than the challenges themselves. Our choices will be more significant than any prophecy. Our actions will write a story that even the most gifted mystic couldn't fully predict, because human beings have always had the capacity to surprise, to adapt, to overcome. The blind prophet from Bulgaria saw many things in her visions. She witnessed tragedy and triumph, endings and beginnings, darkness and light, but perhaps her greatest insight was simply this: the future is never certain until it becomes the present. And in that moment of transition, in that space between what was and what will be, humanity has always found its greatest power. The power to choose, the power to change, the power to survive and even thrive in the face of impossible odds. If you found this exploration of Baba Vanga's prophecies thought-provoking, subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into predictions, mysteries, and the unknown forces shaping our world. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next video, where we'll explore other prophecies about 2026 and what multiple sources across different traditions have said about the years ahead. Share this video with anyone who needs to hear this message. And let me know in the comments what you think the year of the vanishing ones really means. Are we headed for literal disappearances, or is Vanga warning us about a more symbolic transformation? Your perspective matters, and I read every comment. Together, let's navigate whatever the future holds with awareness, preparation, and hope. Until next time, stay curious, stay prepared, and remember that the best way to predict the future is to create it.